Do you feel broken, my brother? As if something inside you had cracked and no longer works the same? Maybe a betrayal split you. Maybe a failure left you without strength. Maybe you're dragging a sin that keeps your head down, and deep inside you think, I'm no good anymore. I'm too damaged. God must have given up on me by now. Then listen, because today the gospel brings you one of the tenderest images of God there is. A bruised reed he will not break, a smoldering wick he will not quench. What does that mean? A bruised reed, cracked, is no use to anyone anymore. Anyone would snap it and throw it away. And a wick that's barely smoking, about to go out, anyone would blow it out. But God, no. God doesn't finish breaking you. God doesn't put you out. God picks up the cracked reed and heals it. God breathes gently on the wick so it may burn again. Stay with me, because today you're going to discover a God who discards no one, and least of all you, precisely now that you're broken. Listen to these words. Notice how they describe the heart of Jesus. The Pharisees went out and took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. When Jesus realized this, he withdrew from that place. Many people followed him, and he cured them all, but he warned them not to make him known. This was to fulfill what had been spoken through Isaiah the prophet. Behold, my servant whom I have chosen, my beloved in whom I delight. I shall place my spirit upon him, and he will proclaim justice to the Gentiles. He will not contend or cry out, nor will anyone hear his voice in the streets. A bruised reed he will not break, a smoldering wick he will not quench, until he brings justice to victory. And in his name the Gentiles will hope. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Look at what a brutal contrast there is in today's gospel, because it's the key to understanding everything. On the one hand, the Pharisees took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. That is, they're already plotting to kill him. And what does Jesus do? Does he confront them? Denounce them? Defend himself? No. He simply withdraws. He leaves that place and goes on healing people in silence, and even asks them not to make him known. Notice, they want to take his life, and he keeps giving life quietly, without a fuss. And there, Matthew quotes Isaiah to explain to us who this Jesus is. And what he says is of tremendous beauty. Listen again. He will not contend or cry out, nor will anyone hear his voice in the streets. That is, the Messiah doesn't come like the powerful of this world. He doesn't come shouting, imposing himself, arguing, crushing anyone. He comes gentle. He comes silent. He comes healing. And then comes the most beautiful line. A bruised reed he will not break. A smoldering wick he will not quench. Let's understand it well, because every word carries weight. A bruised reed is a reed already cracked, split, half broken. In those days they made flutes from reeds, and if one cracked, it no longer sounded right. It was no longer any use. And what did you do? You'd snap it and throw it away and take another. That's the logical thing. And a smoldering wick is the wick of an oil lamp that barely burns anymore, that only smokes, that gives off more smoke than light. And what do? You put it out because it's a nuisance, because it's useless. That's logical too. Well then, my brother, God doesn't do the logical thing. God does what love does. God sees the cracked reed, the one everybody would throw away, and instead of snapping it, he holds it up, heals it, straightens it. God sees the wick that barely smokes, the one everybody would put out, and instead of quenching it, he shields that little flame with his hand so it won't go out, and breathes gently until it burns again. Do you understand what this means for you? That even if you're broken, God doesn't discard you. That even if your faith is barely a thread of smoke, God doesn't quench it. That even if you've fallen 1,000 times, even if your life is a disaster, even if you're cracked inside, God doesn't throw you in the trash. On the contrary, it's precisely there, in your weakness, that he draws near with the greatest care. And this is so different from the world, my brother. Notice, the world discards. The world throws away what no longer performs, what no longer produces, what has broken. It discards the elderly person who's no longer useful, the sick person who no longer gives, the one who failed, the one who fell, the one who's no good to the system. It's a throwaway culture, as the Pope used to say. And in the middle of that world that throws away, there appears a God who picks up. A God who bends down precisely where everyone else walks past and lifts up what others gave up for lost. And notice how sad this is, my brother, because we don't only discard others, we also discard ourselves. And that's perhaps the cruelest discarding of all. How many people go through life telling themselves inside, I'm worthless now, I'm beyond fixing, I've lost my chance. After what I did, I can't go back to God. They've judged themselves with a harshness God would never use with them. And they've closed the door God is holding wide open for them. Listen to me. You are not your worst mistake. You are not your darkest moment. God doesn't define you by your fall, but by what he can still do with you. And even if you've discarded yourself, he hasn't discarded you. Never. Not once. Stop being harder on yourself than God is. And let me tell you one more thing, because it's extremely important. Notice that God doesn't wait for the reed to heal on its own before drawing near. He doesn't tell you, when you're whole, come back. He draws near precisely when you're cracked. He doesn't say, when your faith is great, we'll talk. He breathes on it precisely when your faith is a dying wick. God doesn't love your perfect, future, fixed-up version. He loves who you are today, broken and all. And that's what heals. And this, my brother, needs underlining, because it's where we go most wrong. Many believe you first have to sort yourself out and then come near to God. When I quit this vice, I'll go back to Mass. When I fix my situation, I'll go to confession. When I'm a better person, I'll start praying. And so the years go by, and that moment never comes, because nobody sorts himself out alone. It's God who sorts you out. You don't have to arrive whole. You have to arrive, period. He supplies the rest. Look at the smoking wick. It hasn't even the strength to burn. It can do nothing by itself. But God draws near and breathes, and the fire returns. You don't have to light yourself. You only have to let yourself be breathed upon. So if today you feel your faith is barely a thread of smoke, don't be ashamed of it. Come to him just like that, with that little wisp. for he knows how to revive what seems dead. Now, my brother, this also demands something of us, and we can't gloss over it, because if God is like this, then so must we be. And ask yourself honestly, how many bruised reeds have I broken with my words? How many people who were already fragile did I give the final push with a criticism, with contempt, with a cruel remark? How many little flames of hope have I quenched with my harshness, with my mockery, with my indifference? Think of that child to whom you only point out mistakes, of that coworker everyone laughs at, of that person who dared to tell you something and you brushed it off. And the other way around, my brother, and this is the beautiful part. You can be the one who holds up the reed. You can be the one who shields the wick with your hand. One word of encouragement from you today can keep someone from breaking altogether. And I believe in you. You're not alone. This will pass can relight a life that was about to go out. Never underestimate what a good word can do for someone on the edge. There are people alive today because someone, one day, didn't finish breaking them. And notice how Jesus heals, because he also teaches us the manner. He will not cry out, nor will anyone hear his voice in the streets. That is, he heals in silence, without humiliating, without exposing anyone. When he heals, he even asks that it not be made known. He's not interested in spectacle, or in looking good, or in people knowing how good he is. Only the person interests him. And that's how we should help, without throwing it in their face, without bringing it up afterward, without humiliating the one we help, without anyone needing to find out. Because there's help that does more harm than good. When it's given with an air of superiority, with an "I'm saving you" in the eyes. That's not Jesus's way. Jesus's way is discreet, respectful, tender. It heals without wounding the pride of the one being healed. Learn that, my brother, and you'll be an instrument of God in the lives of many broken people. So, what do we take home today? That God discards no one, and least of all, the one who is broken. That if your faith is barely smoke, he won't quench it, he'll revive it. That he is gentle, he doesn't shout, doesn't crush, heals in silence. And that we're called to do the same. Hold up bruised reeds, shield flickering flames. So today, if you're broken, let yourself be healed. And if you have someone broken beside you, be the one who doesn't finish breaking them. Today's task has two parts, and both are precious. The first, stand before God today with your broken part, the one you hide, the one that shames you, and tell him, "Lord, this reed is bruised, and I know you won't break it. You heal it." And let him look at you without fear, just as you are. The second, think of someone you know who today is a bruised reed, someone fragile, going through a hard time, who's on the edge. And today, without fail, send them a message, a good word, a call. It doesn't have to be anything big, just so they know someone sees them and cares. It may be that today, without knowing it, you keep a wick from going out. And listen, if this message reached your heart, help me get it to someone who today feels discarded, broken, useless. Subscribe if you haven't yet, give it a like, and share this video with that person so they may know God will not break them. And leave me your city and your country in the comments, And if you want, write me that broken part you're handing over to God today for Him to heal, and I'll pray for you at Mass. One more thing, important. There are fake pages using my face and my name to ask for money and promise miracles. That is not me. I will never ask you for money for a prayer. The only true channel is Light of Faith with Father David. Please be careful. Stay now for the Holy Mass of this Saturday, July 18th. We offer it for you, for your family, and in a special way for all who today feel like bruised reeds, broken, discarded, without strength or hope, that they may discover that God will not break them, but comes to heal them. May God bless you, and don't forget, even broken, God doesn't discard you. He holds you up. May God bless you all, today and always.